and gentlemen, dear Stuart, also my dear panelist, good afternoon. My name is Srini and I'm the CEO of a design company based in Palo Alto. As a design company, we've been doing product design in the traditional industrial design and the engineering, prototyping and the traditional design services, but also we provide other services such as the service design as well as the design for usability in terms of consumer electronic products and things like that. So the topic today is design for usability, and this is the first time I'm on the panel here, though I've been a CES attendee for the last 10 years on different platforms and different other technologies. So first of all, I would like to take a few minutes and talk about the user experience aspect of it. So all of us know in a very rough sense, what is user experience, but typically with the just holiday season having just been gone, all of us, most of us have at least one gadget that we still don't know how to use. And we have just gotten in the last Christmas, given to us by somebody, and we know that it's a very attractive product, but we still are unable to use it. For most of the time when we get a consumer electronic product, the first reaction for most of us is one of possession. We're very ecstatic about the possession of the product, and the next thing would be a fear of inhibition because you do not know how to use the product, and therefore you also are not very confident of opening the product because it's expensive and it could be damaging to something. You press some of the buttons and then it could permanently damage some of the devices. So that's the traditional, typical feelings, at least in the pre-iPhone era. So collectively, all of these is your user experience. Right? Today, what do we really do? How do we get to the customer who wants to use? Just like Stu mentioned earlier, 90% of the functionality that you need to or you want to use as soon as you open the wrapper, and that collectively is the user experience which designers and as well as the product managers are called upon to build a product. If you look at all around us, most of us are familiar with the consumer electronic products as well as any other home electronics. Most of the time, the first impression of a good product disappears as soon as you start learning to use the product within the next 48 hours or maybe 72 hours, and then you feel like very frustrated and you want to really return. If you go to Costco at the end of first week of January or any of those big electronics stores like Best Buy where they allow you to return the product, you see a long lines of people trying to return the product which they just gone over the coolness within the 72 hours. This is also a major challenge for companies all around the globe. What do they do to retain the coolness, beyond these 72 hours, that they can really not go belly up. Companies go bust. They come to CES, they introduce a new product. After 2 weeks, they're just going to file bankruptcy because what they thought is a cool product. Maybe there are 7 hours that they want in the trade show like this, but that's not reaching the average Joe out there in the market. That's one of the problems that most of the companies are having as developers and designers. And if you really look at not taking this one level beyond the consumer electronic products, whether it is a men's urinal or whether it is a faucet that we become unfamiliar from hotel A to hotel B, or if it is going to be a remote control of most of the televisions and the set-top boxes, the user experience is the same thing. I should be able to change the channel. I should be able to record the program. I should be able to retrieve the program. But most often, the remote controls that we get, today I saw so many remote controls on so many products that were introduced today, it's the same problem. It's confusion all around. You take a long time before you come out and see how do we use this particular product. The TV is great. I saw a TV which is like 8 mm thickness or thinness. Then how do you navigate through that? Those are all the challenges that we're talking about, and that's where the topic of design for usability is very well selected by the ICC for discussion among all of us out here. So some of the few features that are really important when you design a product. First and foremost is, we are all designing products for the future where we do not know how the end user is going to behave, and that's a tough challenge for all the producteers, whether they are product marketeers or product designers or designers like us. So that's one of the challenges. If you overcome the challenge, then you're going to find out how are they going to use it, what are the features that are going to be sticking in a human mind? What is the eyeball is going to do? Are we going to track the, there are studies, which we track the eyeball movement, and we just see, some of the heat map and gaze plot. There are a lot of terminologies and new study of how to find the human behavior, how he adopts the technology. So those are some of the things that we constantly do. There are very well-established scientific techniques today that people are using. And those are some of the things that we all collectively do, and I don't want to take a lot of time explaining those techniques. As we go, probably we will get to discuss. Thank you again, and hopefully this session will be more interesting to all of us out here. Thanks. In the new product, especially the consumer electronics, three things are very, very critical. First is, if you're going to be the pioneering of a product in terms of new technology, maybe 3G to 4G or 4G to 5G and so on, so then you need to track the technology that's happening from a semiconductor point of view or a technology. And secondly, if it is going to be a product that you're going to improve, you want to fight against a big leader, let's say Apple in this case. So then you want to really find out what is not working well in the particular product, so that you try to address that as a first thing, and try and figure out the people who are not happy with the product and what they like to see. And that's another key factor. And the third one is, you want to target the audience because you want the first impression to be a successful product. So when you release the product, you want to make sure the target audience, in this case I'll give an example. We did a small tablet for school children so that they can stop carrying this 20 pounds school bag. So the first thing we did was to form factor. What would the kids like to do? Between 9th grade to the 12th grade, what would they like to see? And interesting enough, they did not like the standard tablet, which is 7-inch or 9-inch or whatever. They liked to see this in some form of a gaming controller. So in this product, that we came up with the PlayStation-like controller, which is 6 inches, and it is not the traditional looking device. So those are three aspects that we need to worry about. Target market, the target audience, whether we are building a feature that is leading as a pioneer, then technology is important. And third one is, you want to do something different than the existing product. So those are three important aspects in my book.
Guys are sitting out there listening, which is
great. The envelope to innovating as well as to bringing new technologies in the form of products. People also learn to live with the limitations of the technologies as well as find out, what feature is going to be good enough for us. This is the evolution of mankind, if you like, right? As we keep on progressing, we really do not know if the gesticulation is going to really be the next order of the day, and every product will have that. For that matter, even speech is really a difficult scenario. Everybody speaks English, but everybody speaks differently, and everybody has an accent, of some kind or the other, depending on where he was born or where he's raised. So that's going to be a challenge, but does it mean that we should not try and see how technologies can be improved? And this is the challenge. One of the drawbacks of the various technologies that come in today, if you look at, as you correctly pointed out, most of the post-Apple iPhone era, most of the devices feel if they do not have a touch interface, they are likely to fail. And this is the fear that drives them in terms of their investors, and in terms of their stakeholders trying to push this and saying we should have that feature just in case if consumers want it. But the answer for those things are as the product comes into the market and people see the use of it, you will see very clearly 2.0 will quietly withdraw those features. And we have seen it all the time, whether it is the navigation system in the BMW 7 Series or the JLR's newer cars. People have been, what we don't track is what has been withdrawn from the market. That actually tells you the rejection of the user experience in terms of what is not good, whether it is a printer or whether it is simple other handheld devices. I believe as a person, forget the designer and other roles we all play, as a human being, we always try to find the next best thing. And there's nothing wrong in doing that, and as we do that, we also realize what works for us and what doesn't work for us. So technology is one such thing.
So I complained.
As far as the product design companies such as Lumium and other companies out here, see, our goal is to make sure that we gather. Design itself is a perceptive in nature, and what you have in your mind is very hard for us to understand in the beginning. So what we try to strive is to make sure that we understand the user or customer, our customer in this case, to find out the requirements in as many settings as possible, and then when we design something, the thrill of you saying, wow, that's what I wanted, and that's what we strive for, because being a design company, so we sometimes, we do different kind of products, right? We have done medical devices, educational tablets, and user experience, as well as service design, but we strive to hit the first time right of knowing you and your mind and producing a product or a design for that. Right, I understood the question, but as a service company, right, today, we are doing on any given day, my team of 100 people, there are about 40 different designs on the floor, right? So for us to the new the design trainee who's joining the company, so my mandate would be to say that you have to make sure that you understand the customer requirements. That's the basic problem. Communication is the major challenge between the designers and the technologists, as we have seen many times.
So let me see if I can help here. Let's take the iPhone off the table as an example. What are some products?
Related to the philosophy of design here, right? See, so much so that the iPhone is a great product and billions of people are using. There are also another billion of people who don't want to use iPhone. You take my own sons, they are 24, 22. They have actually, used iPhone because of the fact that it's so rigid and not let them do what they want to do as college kids. They want to just rip open everything and, make they want to keep on uploading the OS every other night, nightly builds they're doing on a device while doing a full-time study at, in their college. So to them, they really don't care how good a product is. They want to be able to go and use the Android. That's where their answer is. Android is a better device, So they like to take the Android so that they can play around, and they want to change the user applications on every few hours. So it's all about, the perspective here. So what do you want to do? Based on that, things that you want to do in that particular space, you should excel. And that's what I was trying to say again, to the gentleman here. We really look at you as my client and what you want. You in the sense, maybe it's a Gen Y, if you're designing a product for Gen Y, which is, the current rage in the world, because they are the ones who are, making the trends for the design or the usability aspect of it. And that's what, as a designer, I would like to see. Whether I like the product or not is not the issue here, but I would like to see who is my client. I want to satisfy him in the very first shot. If he says, I don't like Apple-like devices, I will not design an Apple-like device. The key thing is to, this is what I think, and most of the time I tell my fellow designers. One is getting the feature set. What are you trying to accomplish in a product? That determines most of the time what is going to be sold as a product. That comes from a collaborative exercise between the intended user of the product as well as the person who is producing the product and the designer in this case. You're going to do. And then once you arrive at the feature set, then you're looking at the basic semantics of design, which is ergonomics and usability, and then of course how the user experience of what you thought is the product is being perceived. These are the four important aspects of design. There are books written and there are so many theses written about the various aspects of it. But to me, it all can be summarized in these three or four parameters. Feature set, what are you trying to accomplish? The ergonomics of that, whether it's nice looking design or it could be a nice looking service design, nice effective, as well as how do you communicate that to your customer or end user, and then making sure that it's easy for him to do that.
I'll say.
Thanks again for your nice participation. So I would say, the important aspect of being a product developer, engineer, designer, whatsoever. So do not just go after the technology that's seemingly the winner. There are a lot of other things that one could really do what they want to do. Ultimately, the uniqueness of a product and the usability of the product or technology is what it wins. And that's one of the reasons why you see so many innovations that are happening. So if you are asked to design a product or define a technology, it's good to take a reference, but don't just get enamored by the success of that particular technology. Otherwise, technology will never grow.